one of the things I noticed, like growing up, that I battle with is my behavior. My behavior was one of those problems that got me into a lot of trouble in school, especially little. I always was bad. Not bad to the point where as though my parent, or should I say my mom didn't look at me like she had to give me away or nothing like that, but I had behavior problems. And I guess that's considered ADD, whatever. And it's crazy that I'm talking about this right now, because reason why what made me want to talk about this was because me and my sister was talking about that. And I'm actually going through that right now with my son. And it's crazy because I didn't have a let out at the time. At that time, you know what I mean, whippings. That's all you know, whippings. You don't act right, a whipping. You don't say what your parent wanted you to say or act how they wanted you to act, you getting a whipping. Everything was always a hit. Always hitting, hollering, hitting. And I had nothing but women around me. So you tend to start having anger issues to the point where it's like, yo, I'm not going to say nothing to my mom because, yo, she's going to snap out on me. She's going to hit me. And it's going to make me lose you're going to lose your ish. But you little. So when you little, you don't have any, you don't have any rights, you know. People say you got rights, but you know, when you little, you know what I mean, you got to listen to your parents or your parent. And by me having just my mom, at the end of the day, she was doing the best that she could do. Not one a bad mom, but when it come emotional, you know what I mean, not to say that you need to let me cry all the time, but it's the thing of when you growing up and you going through this, you thinking something wrong with you. You got nothing but anger. You want to fight all the time. You going to school, getting in trouble. And that was another thing. Like in school, I didn't know how to act right. AK can't act right. Yo, when you can't act right, boy, you just snapping. I just snap. Snap out like I'm going to punch on somebody. Always fighting. Running my mouth all the time. And that's another trait. Like the behavior. And I notice when I see that with a lot of dudes today, their mouth, they got mouths like a woman. And I had that. Just always got something to say. Just, it's like, damn. I think back now and I be like, damn, why didn't nobody smack me in my mouth? Like, man, shut up. But, gotta think about it. The way you grow up, you emulate some of these characteristics. You start running your mouth a lot, thinking, not to say that you think you are a female, but you start acting in a way where as though you starting to be real, not, I don't want to say sassy, but you start running your mouth a lot, not understanding the structure of violence, or something can happen to you. And you thinking that when you pop off, you're going to always win. You're not going to always win that battle. You're not going to always win because someone's going to end up doing something to you. You're not the biggest and baddest. And a lot of times, when you looking at like the way you grow up, especially if you're growing up around a bunch of women, you normally think that you got the same rights as them. Like you say something, say for instance, you say something crazy to your mom, you'll get smacked in your mouth. But when you get out here, outside in the world, like when you're younger, you thinking you're gonna say something. It's like it's not your mom. So you're like, man, the same thing gonna happen to me until you get punched in the face, and then you get a rude awakening. But in some cases, some boys like me, I ain't get smacked on. I end up going to school thinking I'm not bully, but say stuff to people and then get into a heated exchange, and then next thing you know, I'm fighting, and then I'm getting suspended. That's what I went through a lot of. Getting suspended, getting into fights, thinking I could say something stupid to a teacher, thinking I knew everything, thinking I just like the be all, like I could just get the last word. And then at the end of the day, you start realizing later, when you getting whippings a lot, you're gonna homeschool, not, I don't know, it wasn't called homeschool, it was in-school suspension. I don't know if they still do that today, but it was in-school suspension. And you start developing a trait within yourself, whereas though the schools start to categorize you as a problem child. And when they categorize you as a problem child, they put you in this, I used to call it a slow class, but you realize it's not really a slow class, it's a behavioral class, behavior problems that people have a hard time learning. But in actuality, you don't, because you're still able to read, you're still able to learn, you just got a problem with taking order. And anyone knows when you got a problem taking orders, they will categorize you as a person of an ADD, someone that is hard to be taught. Like, you cannot take orders without someone sitting down with you, letting you know, hey, yo, it's time for you to actually like focus. And that's basically what you have an issue doing. Focusing and be able to put your attention somewhere where as though you don't stray off and go off the deep end. And that a lot of times come from structure, comes from your upbringing. And I notice a lot of that happens, especially with the inner city when it comes to us fellas. It tends to happen with the fellas because they emulate a lot of things that girls do in school. I know this for a fact because my son gonna do this. I started noticing with the staying still, gotta stay still, gotta keep quiet. With boys, we cannot keep quiet like that. I don't know what it is, but we can't because we high sprung. We got a lot of energy, especially that testosterone, especially young. You amped up. You want to grab everything. You want to do stuff. Then when you see girls, you kikiing, laughing. You want to hug them. You don't know what it is, but you feel that feeling. And you like to be protective. I don't know why. I think because we're around our moms and we see that, or we want to be protective of our moms. It's like a feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but boys, they turn it to men. We know that feeling. We can't explain it. That's probably why when you're little, someone hug your mom, you like, yo, get off my mom. No one really teaches you that. It's in us. I don't know why. It's just in us. It's like a girl with their dad. You know, daddy's little girl. Another thing I noticed. That's how I know dads are very, very important. Especially of that father figure. I can tell you this. I picked this up. Later on in life, I noticed how much I needed my dad. Or I peeped how my sisters talk to me. It's a respect. Because they know I'll F them up. I'm just saying. I had fights with my sister and roughed them up when they got disrespectful. And they knew not to do that. But it was a respect. As later on in life, like, yo, they call their brother. And I had to learn to talk to them properly. Because it carried weight. And a lot of times, we don't realize the existence of how us men operate when we're younger, how it has a lot to do with our upbringing and our temperament. Like, that clashing out, just slashing out. Like, and you see it today. We don't know how to control ourselves. And a lot of times, I used to think like, we can. A lot of times, we can't. Because we ain't even got we ain't got nothing to correct us. Only times we have something to correct us is if we get knocked out or something bad happens to us. And sometimes we're not able to make it back home from that situation. So I can tell you from just learning. I learned from fighting all the time to actually getting my eyes sliced open. Not sliced open, but I know when to stop. And I end up doing something to somebody. Now, mind you, I could have walked away, but I didn't. I turned into almost like a bully. And they hit me so good, I had blood coming down to the point I couldn't see. But I can see a little bit, but the blood was drenched in my eyes to the point I'm like, damn, what the hell happened? Yo, they got a good hit. Yo, this is why I say a lot of times you don't even realize how uncontrollable we become when we don't have anything to set us on a straight path, like with nothing. So, you know, I just realized, like, what made me actually talk about this was, this is something very big in the environment we live in with our identity. And a lot of us deal with this, like our attention span, we got short fuses. And I didn't realize, like, I used to think it was a joke when people talk about ADD. And I realized it's not a joke. I realized this is something really big because a lot of us men deal with this. I can't speak of women too much. I know women deal with stuff differently. I know they learn differently. But I know for a fact that as men, we cannot sit around the same as like girls in a huddle and just sit there and learn. Because a lot of times, especially, I can tell you this. So like I was saying, like matter of fact, hey Bryson,
Yes.
What's some of the things that we talked about before, like controlling yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and very high temper and stuff like that. But you learn to control your temper, right?
Yes.
Got you. That's what I'm talking about. You my homie.
Thanks, Dad.
You got it, dude. And this is why the apple does not fall far from the tree. That's why sometimes when you look at yourself, especially as a man, you have to also look at yourself in the mirror and realize too that you might take after someone, and hopefully you can get help for it. I could definitely tell you this. Some of the things that you can do, and I have noticed, is definitely implemented around your eating. I can tell you, growing up, I ate horrible. My mom let me eat anything, even though I was in shape because I was little. I ran everywhere, played basketball, did all type of things. But your energy level is different. You're on a natural high all the time because you're on junk food and stuff like that. Bryson, what's one of the things we said we was going to cut out?
The junk food.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. And have you been eating junk food?
No.
Okay. I love you for that. How about your medicine? Have you been taking your medicine?
Yes.
Got you. Which is vitamins. They're not medicine. That's vitamins. Got you. But this is one thing you want to also keep in mind, that you want to actually do the things that you have to do to balance your emotions. And a lot of it does have to do with the food. I'm going to tell you that now. It does have something to do with the food. Because I noticed when I started eating a little bit more cleaner, I started giving my son, what kind of salad I give you, Bryson? What kind? What kind? Caesar salad. You mean Caesar salad. But that's one of the things you want to start eating. I'm not trying to say eat a whole bowl of cabbage, but you got to start eating vegetables, and eating a vegetable meal that's like a nice salad with some stuff like all types of like different greens in it, whatnot. And I'm gonna tell you something, when you start doing that and working out, you will start to relieve a lot of pressure in your body to the point you actually do start to think different. That's why they say stress hurts so many people. And one of the stress relievers is eating properly. Because when you don't eat proper, you're going to have a lot of inflammation and a lot of things going on in your body that's going to cause you to be angry. I've never seen a person eat a bunch of greasy food and fried chicken and go to all the fast food spots, be in a good mood all the time. Think about it. The moods you are in is normally how you feel. And when you feel real good about yourself, you're not walking around here angry, trying to frustrate people because you're frustrated. That's one thing I had to learn. Like, the way you operate and you treat your body, that's how it treats you back. And this is one of the things a lot of parents lack. And I choose to not do the same thing. I make sure that, not to say that our parents were bad back then, but let's be honest. Our parents back then were ignorant. Let's be real. They were ignorant because they did not look, our parents weren't stupid. they know damn well that we had issues that they should have been looked at. That should have been looked at or take considerable knowledge of. But they chose to look at it and say, I don't feel like dealing with it, because they had their own lives that they were still trying to run. That's why a lot of times when they talk about the parenting back then, it was not that much different. It's just that they didn't have social media around like it is now. If you look now, you see the older generation now on all the social media platforms trying to compete. Come on. So we just got to be better as parents now and help our kids out, because even just going through the things that I've been through growing up, especially when it comes to behavior issues, it made me open my eyes up and realize, oh, I see the same signs, the same thing that my son's going through. So I just need to be better at making sure I do something about it. And one of the main things I do, I definitely pay more attention to, is the stuff that I give him and the things that I let him eat. So you have to also watch all those things, because all those things are going to set your kid up for a win. You can't lose when you're treating the body right and you're also doing activities to stimulate your kids. So that's why I think about the stuff that I was around. And normally when you think about most of us, now I ain't gonna say every, but a lot of us, I'm gonna say a lot of us, or me, whatever, grew up in a city where as though a bunch of craziness is going on. Not only a bunch of craziness, but you got a lot of people talking wild, always gossiping, talking negativity. Your parents or your grandparents is normally into a bunch of craziness. You're seeing death all over the place. You're going to school in chaos. Remember, when you're going to school, you're being associated with people that's coming from crazy upbringings that normally have different upbringings than you. Even though we can all be from the same area, everybody's home is different. You got someone coming from a home where though their mom or dad is on drugs, and so when they come to school, they might be a drug baby. Turn it down. Might be a drug baby. You never know. So everybody is going to be different. That's why a lot of times I end up learning on later that you cannot like you can't relate to everybody just because you live around them. You think you might be able to relate to them just because of skin color, but in actuality, that's not how that really goes. Because my mom had a good job, but she did her thing, and also my grandpa was around that helped a lot, and my grandma might not have been the most stable, but growing up, that felt stable to me. Because I was loved and I was around family and no one did anything to me except cuss me out from time to time. Other than that, it's nothing to really complain about and try to judge anybody off of that, because everything from that felt good and it felt rewarding, because I have those memories that I share. But along with that, I was able to see that my family has a lot of issues when it comes to temperament and how we deal with, chaos. So I think a lot of us both all deal with that. Can't say everybody deals with that. Oh boy, long day. So, but I just say, hey man, I wish y'all the best of luck. And if you find yourself stressed out and you got temperament issues, or your kids suffer from ADHD or whatnot, you suffer from that, hey man, find some ways to deal with that, cope with that. And and I talked about how you can actually help yourself get through that. And it's definitely with treating your body different. Get away from eating crazy. Just tone down. And I'm going to be honest with you. You might want to go cold turkey and go on a detox. Alright?